Welcome to KEF Kaarvaan, a podcast initiative by Kotak Education Foundation. Today our guest speaker is Mr. Santosh More, co-founder of Mantra for Change. Started in 2013 in just 2 schools in Bengaluru, Mantra for Change today has evolved as one of the ecosystem builders in the landscape of education. We are extremely happy to have Santosh with us today, but let's get to know more about him and their work directly from Santosh. Welcome, Santosh.
Thank you so much, Abhijat.
So let's just start first with your journey so far and the journey of Mantra for Change. If you could tell us more about how did it all begin?
Thank you. Mantra for Change journey, to start Mantra for Change journey, I should also talk a little bit about how I started my professional career. An engineer by degree, I started my professional life from Infosys Technologies way back in 2006, and after some time, after 3 years of time, I realized that probably social sector is where my interest lies. A lot of this also because of upbringing in Bihar, always wanted to see the public education and public life to be better there. So it was 2009 when I saw this ad in the newspaper about Teach for India, and decided to join Teach for India fellowship program in 2009. A lot of this also goes to my conversation during that time with other co-founder of Mantra for Change, Khushbu, who eventually became my wife as well. So Khushbu and I, we used to talk a lot about what we can do in social sector, and I think in 2008, towards the end of 2008, that conversation led us to finally quit our jobs and come to social sector, come in the vicinity of social sector, I would say. So I joined Teach for India fellowship program, and Khushbu joined Tata Institute of Social Sciences. She completed her masters, I completed my fellowship, and then we came back to Bangalore, and I was in Janagraha. Khushbu was working with NH Hospital here. Okay. After our office hours, we started teaching children in our community. And one of the things that we realized was that it's not getting sustainable because we were getting late from the office at times. We used to start our class at 7:30. That time we met one of our friends, Sanjay Purohit, and we were trying to raise some funds, 25,000 rupees, to sustain by hiring a full-time teacher. Yeah. And I still remember the day when he told us that I can give you 25,000 rupees right away and we don't meet, or you come to me with a proposal which is equivalent to your potential and we meet again and again. Okay. He was a senior vice president in Infosys that time, and I would say that changed our entire way of thinking things. We started thinking more about what else, what more. Next week we met, we presented him a plan. He told, now you are talking. So it was in October, and since October till January, we met 8 times, 8 consecutive weekends. Every Sunday we used to meet at his house and we used to discuss, and he used to just sit with us, used to help us in amplifying our ambition itself. Yeah. Eventually we reached a point where we decided, or we discussed, or we came to a conclusion that school as a unit of change is something that we should explore. And that's where we started with 2 schools. Okay. We started with 2 schools. We were already volunteering. We were already doing something in the school system by that time. So that resulted us into coming into school system. But eventually, over a period of time, what also started happening with lot of conversation with Mr. Sanjay Purohit was, every time we would meet him, he would put a 0 on our target. So we will say that we would be working in 100 schools. He will say, why not 1,000? Why not 10,000? So that kept us thinking a lot. That kept us thinking about, are there more systems that we can explore? Yeah. So that's how the journey of Mantra evolved. And until 2017, we were working with 50 schools, including low budget private schools and government schools. But 2017 was the point when we were having this meeting with Mr. Shibulal, one of our other mentors, and one of our biggest supporters, and Sanjay Purohit. And the question was again in front of us, which was whether you want to scale or you want to grow. We went back to the drawing table. We tried to make sense of it. and we realized that they are talking about scaling the impact and not growing the organization. And we went back to them and we told we would like to scale the impact. And that's where two thinking got ingrained into us. One was scaling with ecosystem and scaling with system. And that's where the state programs, the district programs started taking shape. On the other side, we started also actively building ecosystem of other civil society organization, other entrepreneurs who are looking at systemic reforms in education. So that's long story about what we did throughout the period of 2013-2017.
There's a lot of things happening in the last 1 decade. But for me, it's always been a question, like even if it's say cooking, like you want to cook something this much of great quality, it's very easy. You want to multiply it and take it for 1 lakh people, it's going to be very difficult. So quality versus quantity is a conundrum that's there in any domain out there.
Totally.
So what is it that you have figured out and is working when you take up such large scale projects?
I was talking to a banking official, I won't take a name, and the same question was coming. As a civil society organization, how are you able to work at such scale? And the question, and there were many questions around it. One of the responses that I provided to him was, as a bank, are you not expanding to all the geographies in the country?
Yeah.
Profit is your one thing, like you are looking at getting more and more customers. For us, the profit is the impact that we are bringing.
Yes.
So, one, there has to be scale, because if we are looking at solving India's education inequity, and if we are serious about it, then we are talking about 250 million school-going children.
Yeah.
So that built our conviction. And again, the thing is that you are limited by your machinery, but is government limited by the machinery?
Yeah.
For 60,000 schools, Bihar already has more than 400,000 teachers. Right? Bihar has a lot of other government officers who are supposed to work with those teachers. Why not take them as part of your ecosystem and system approach and then work along with them? So that's what we started doing. So each one of the government officers became part of us and we became part of them. That way we were able to multiply our resources, ensuring that the quality is not compromised.
So would you say that is the mantra for
for
change?
Definitely. That's the mantra for change. If we are able to, or if we are ensuring that the agency of the stakeholder is restored, then our work is done. We are not required there. That's what we should strive towards. That should be our quest towards creating a self-healing system, rather than always trying to take our product and putting it in the system.
Santosh, but this is making me think that there are so many stakeholders, there are so many entities, there are so many different roles. All have to come in together, all have to work together to create something that is going to be impactful for our children and for the community, right? How do we strike a balance in that?
First of all, nothing is disconnected in the system. If you disconnect any of these things, then the entire system will fail to exist. So if you are talking about a state, for example, and I'll start my conversation with respect to state, because in India education is a concurrent subject, and most of our experiences are with respect to this system itself. So state has all the muscle to implement any education intervention. Now if you look at state, and if you are trying to say that there is a program, there is a frame of service that I need to implement across say 60,000 schools of Bihar.
Yes.
Now if we want to do that, then we need to ensure that the secretary is onboarded. We need to ensure that the directors are onboarded. We need to also ensure that under the director, the district officers, the block education officers and the school leaders, everybody is onboarded in the program. Now from at the school level, we have school leader, headmaster, head teacher, and then we have teachers, and we have school management committee as well, all three of them working towards student learning outcome. Now at the district level, we have district education officer. Now what happens is, if the leadership ability of these people are not built, then your program will break at a certain point of time. Very small example, when we are thinking about connectivity, road connectivity in India, right? Then we talk about highways. We talk about highways that the central government is creating. We talk about the state highways. Then we also talk about the highways which are in the grams, right, in the gaon.
Yes.
We also talk about the highways which are, or the roads which are leading to somebody's house. Now, this is how we have to imagine education system.
Absolutely.
If the highway is not laid properly, then none of the programs would be implemented properly. And for us, this highway is leadership.
Got it.
This is what we call it mantra. We are a highway building company, right? We build highways, we build state highways, we build district highways as well. And we don't know curriculum. We don't know a lot about curriculum. But we would partner with an organization
Yes.
who will come with a Mercedes, who will come with a Lamborghini, who will run on that highway. But the quality of highway will determine whether Mercedes can run on that, or whether Lamborghini can be run on that, or whether Maruti 800 can be run on that.
Yeah.
All this can exist if the highways are built properly. For us, these cars are the examples of different programs,
Yeah.
and the leadership is the underlying highway on which the programs are running.
That's a lovely analogy, and thank you for bringing that up, because I think, to my knowledge at least, I know for a fact that Mantra for Change has worked with so many organizations, so many entities, right? You work with the government, yes, but there are so many other players, and like you called out right now that, you don't know everything. There are subject matter experts out there who you partner with. So could you talk a little bit more about that? I know Kotak Education Foundation is also working with Mantra for Change, but we would love to know from you that you work with so many other people, so many other organizations. How do you sort of manage, how do you sort of go about doing that?
First is I believe there has to be an understanding of what you don't know. That's very, very important. And what you don't want to know. Now, second is that you can start reaching out to different partners and
Yes.
say that, boss, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know, can you come and work with us, or can you come and help us out? Right? That has helped us in reaching out to multiple partners. Now, many a times we see that people don't reach out. And trust me, whenever we have reached out, and I'll take example, since you are from Kotak, I'll take example of Kotak itself. When we reached out to Jayashree and Ganesh about Andhra Pradesh program. So we are running a wonderful program in Andhra Pradesh residential school system there. And we reached out saying that we need to run an English program over there. Kotak already had created this. Right? And if Mantra would go ahead and look at creating something like that, it will take us 1 or 2 years at least. So that's very, very important that you have the humility, you have the trust, and then you are able to reach to the partner organization and saying that we don't know, can you come and we can work together. And most cases, if you reach out to somebody, people would come and work with you.
That's wonderful. But along with that, if I could also push you a little bit to think about something that you have felt is something that we don't have an answer to, or Mantra for Change is still sort of trying to figure out, grappling with areas of development where, in the last 10 years, there must be some learnings where you are still trying to figure out how do I make this better. What would that be?
So, first I'll talk about 3 learnings.
Yeah.
One important learning is invest in human resources. I really feel that the kind of work that we are doing is intensive on human resource capabilities. Right. So we need to spend effort, time, energy on creating a wonderful pool of human resources who are able to work with government, who are able to think systemically. Right. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is collaborating with multiple organizations. That's our second learning.
Yes.
That's all the answers lies in the network. It's your ability to collaborate which will help you solve all the problems. Third important thing that we have learned is agency of the stakeholder, agency of the people. See, many times what happens is that we come as a collection, but we don't come as a collective. Collective is collection of organization tied by a common vision.
Yeah.
Now you create a common vision, set of goals on which people can start working together. This entire thing is a very, very, I would say, tedious job. But if you spend your time, effort and energy on this, your life is set. Like in Punjab, we have seen that in Punjab. We are now seeing the fruits of it in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar as well. So creating that collective, putting your time is very important there. Starts with trust again. When you start getting together. Like today, with Kotak Education Foundation, Mantra for Change, there is a lot of trust. Like there is no trust deficit. Tomorrow, if we have to really think of something, we can come together, we can start creating something, and then first trust is there, then Excel sheet is there. Right? We'll put our goals there.
Yeah.
And the third important thing is about the agency. Now this agency thing is a long haul thing.
Yeah.
right? Agency of school heads, that's one. Agency of teacher. Now agency of parents also. Now just understand this point. I come from Bihar, and when I talk to, and I generally go on the ground, keep talking to people. Many people, they feel that they feel grateful that there is a public education system which is taking care of their children. But the day they start realizing that it's a right for them. Now
Yes.
we have a right to education, right?
Yes.
It's a right to quality education that is given to their children by our constitution. The entire game will change, and that's where the agency will play an important. So that third part, how do we make sure that every parent in India is feeling that we have an education system where our child needs to get quality education,
Yeah.
which is what government of India is providing us, and we need to ask our teachers, we need to ask our school heads that why my child is not getting better primary education is something that we need to solve for.
Santosh, there's so much work that you've spoken about and such great success stories. I want to assume that it's not all you, it's all your team members also. So if you could talk a little bit about, how you play a role, how your team members play a role.
So definitely. And again, if I would have told that it's all my work, then I would be lying profusely. So see, this is again something that we have seen over a period of time. For any organization to be successful, I think first major ingredient is the co-founder has to be really, really solid. And fortunately for me, my co-founder is my wife. So we are married to the organization, we are married to each other as well. Now what happened because of this? We understand each other really well. We know what are our successes, what are our failures. We understand strengths, weaknesses.
Yeah.
What we have been able to do as co-founders is we have complemented each other really well. While we were building Mantra for Change, while we were building Shiksha Lokam, we have really complemented each other really well and tried to play on each other's strength and make sure that our weaknesses are being taken care of. That also brings me to the next point about the role of the team members.
Yeah.
Human resource is the best investment that we can make. At Mantra for Change, for the first 3 years, we were 7 members team. First 3 years, only 7 members team. And after, in fact, in 4th year, we were 15, 16 people. So all these 15, 16 people, you won't believe, 12 people are still at Mantra for Change. Now that helped us to build that core muscle with the organization. Our core is really strong. We know each other very well. We have stuck together. We are onto a mission. Having Sanjay Purohit with us helped us a lot. Like, I don't know what that guy always keeps thinking, because the way he puts complex frameworks in front of you in a simplistic manner, very minimalistic design, all these things are just fantastic. Mr. Shibulal, Kumari Shibulal, both were just amazing. And again, I remember when Khushbu and I were sitting in front of them, they asked us, so that time we used to raise funds through marathons. We would run and cycle and we would raise funds. And then Shibu sir told, bhag ke aur cycle chala ke kab tak paisa raise karoge? And then they told that we have now believed in you. We would like to invest in what you guys are trying to build. But let's build it on values. We are not here to take account of how you are spending the money. We are here to help you build organization in a better manner. Values are the foundation of any organization. This is how I have built Infosys. This is what he told us. That has stuck to us since that time in 2015 till now. And somebody like Mr. Deepak Satwalekar, we met. He taught us how to ask right questions. He will never give you answer. You ask him a question, he will give you only question. Similarly, there are all the other mentors who have really, really helped us in becoming what we have become so far. So I would say these are the three most important things: co-founder, your team, and your mentors.
That's wonderful to know. Now, if you could talk a little bit more about the current work that is happening in India, in the Indian education system. So many initiatives, so many wonderful projects being taken up. But at the same time, there's so much work happening. If you could talk a little bit about the work that you have been involved with at a national level, at a state level.
Definitely. No, I would say, first of all, I am very, I call myself Hope Ki Dukaan. So I am a very optimistic kind of person. And looking at the history of education reforms in India and some of the submissions that have happened, like if you start from 1960s when Kothari Commission report was first submitted, and then 86 when the district empowerment project came into picture, where the focus was given on decentralization, plus then Samagra Shiksha, now it's called Samagra Shiksha, earlier it was called Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, plus right to education. Now, these are all, I would say, phenomenal achievements that we have seen in Indian education system. Over the last 1 decade, things have taken a different trajectory, and that gives me a lot of, I would say, hope about what our education system would be going to achieve in next, I would say, 5 years or 10 years of time. One, the way the national education policy has been drafted, I feel it is very futuristic. There are a lot of elements which talk about, I would say, leadership development. It talks about the 21st century skills of children. It is not only limited to literacy and numeracy outcome, but it is talking about a lot of other things. Second important thing is the focus on data. Now, and Nipun is an outcome. I would say Nipun is an outcome of that. Now, the getting an entire country focused on literacy and numeracy of children is a massive task, and whole credit should go to the government, that government has made that as a national mission. Right. Third important thing that we are seeing is with respect to some of the flagship projects. Now, education, many of the flagship projects are launched by the I would say the education department or the ministry of like last year Ministry of Home Affairs, for example. Shri Amit Shah ji launched a project in education, right? PM Shri is launched by the Prime Minister. So we are seeing a lot of, I would say, the influential people in the country are launching wonderful education projects. That means education is becoming the topmost priority in the country. That brings me to the next thing about the PM Shri, for example. PM Shri is one of the initiative which is launched, I would say, last year. One of the key focus, 14,000 schools, one of the key focus that is there in PM Shri program itself is how do you make these schools center of excellence with the headmaster driving the excellence over there. Now, this is amazing thing to do, and if all these things work properly, I would say we are in a very good shape over the period of next 5 to 10 years, and we are talking about 250 million school going children.
You call yourself a hope ki dukaan. I will not call myself a dukaan, but I carry a lot of hope with me. I genuinely believe that the Indian education system has the potential to become the best education system in the world. What are your thoughts about that?
No, you are right. You are right. This is what we believe in, and this is what will drive us forward. Now, see, again, the inspirations are many. India at a given point of time was the beacon of education, carrying the beacon of education for the entire world. We had Nalanda University, Vikramshila University. Now we are at a phase where we may not be having so many of those world-renowned universities, but we have IITs, IIMs, and the focus of government on creating these center of excellences for higher education, for primary and upper primary education also is giving me a lot of hope. The factor that will change a lot, or that will change everything a lot, or the trajectory of our growth a lot, is parents believe in that their children can achieve what their potential, what their true potential is. If at a systemic level itself, like some of the programs that we have done with the government of Punjab, with government of Bihar, in fact recently we also did a program with government of Uttar Pradesh. In that, one very interesting thing happened was about, which was about block Chaupal. Okay, at block level, Chaupals were created. The idea of Chaupal was that parents come together and the block education officer will address them. The idea was to build that belief in parents that your child can achieve something. Many a times and again it's a reality, parents in very lower strata of society, they don't believe a lot in education, although we have right to education in the country. It's very ironic that they don't believe in the power of education. They feel that after grade 8, until grade 8 it's fine, we have a law in the country, but after grade 8 they don't believe that their children can do anything substantial in life. So we need to really start finding those harbingers in each and every, I would say, community, in each and every society. I'll give you an example of, this is a very good example. So there is a child in one of the communities in Bangalore. Goripalya is the community. That was the community where we started with 2 schools in the beginning. Now that child now has started her marketing studio, and it's a Muslim dominated area. A lot of people over there are from lower strata. Now she is started her marketing studio, and last week she was in our office. She was sitting with my CA, trying to figure out how does she register a company and she will become an entrepreneur. So far she was just doing it without registering a company, and now she is making it all formal. She is an entrepreneur, right? Now looking at her, lot of other children in the community, lot of other parents in the community are, and now she is now changing the way people think about education for girls in that community. Right? So these are things that we'll have to look for. We'll have to look at who are those beacons of change. B, we'll have to amplify their story. If we are able to amplify their story, lot more parents, lot more community members will start believing in the idea of education. And I'm using the word very carefully. Education for me is an idea. You have to start believing in the idea of education, and then only you will start believing in the potential of your child.
Santosh, every time I have interacted with you, I'm always left with a lot of inspiration and a lot of hope for all the children of India. So thank you so much for all your time today. Any last final words and any call to action for all our listeners out there today?
No, thank you so much, Abhijat. I'll just say that I am always in awe of all of you, and also at Kotak Education Foundation team for the work that all of you are doing, and for the work that we are also doing. We are co-travelers, and what I would say, what we have learned, what I have learned personally from Kotak Education Foundation also is, again, the thing that I told earlier, humility. I just, whenever I meet the team members, I feel very satisfied and very humbled that all of you are into this and we are all together. A call to action would be, see, there are 3 interesting, I would say, cast of characters here. One is the implementers. Second is orchestrator, and third is evangelizers. So I would say, as an implementers, we are doing great job. Now these are the other 2 layers that we need to energize really well. Orchestrator are the people who can really make sure that people are networking, people are coming together, there are collective action exercises happening, and country is our goal. Right? And the third is evangelizer. We need more and more people to talk about education. We need more and more influential people to talk about education. If more and more influencers will talk about education, education will become the primary subject, or I would say discourse in our country, which is taking some shape now, but we'll have to amplify it, because every year we need to understand that every year we have around, I would say, around 1 crore children who are coming out of our education system. So we all are on an urgent mission, and amplification can come through communication a lot, which is what we need to focus on.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.